Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for standing by and welcome to Visual BI's webinar. Today we'll be discussing about expanding the capabilities of SAP Analytics Cloud with application design, thereby providing you with the ability to build more powerful applications on the cloud. During this presentation, all participants will be in listen-only mode. If you have a question during the presentation, please submit it via the Q&A portion of the screen. Simply type your question into the box, click the send button. Our presenter will address your questions at the end of the presentation, time permitting. If you don't hear an answer to your question, don't worry, we'll deliver answers to you individually after the webinar. The webinar is being recorded and a link to the replay will be sent to you via an email. Presenting today is Anu. Anu is a senior BI solution strategist at Visual BI Solutions and is an experienced BI consultant with a demonstrated history of working in the information technology and service industry with skills including data analytics and simulation. I will now turn over the presentation to Anu.
Thank you. Good morning to all. Thank you all for joining the webinar. So we are going to discuss about SAP Analytics Cloud and how we can expand its capabilities with application design. And to all those who have been a part of the Visual BI's previous webinar on SAP Analytics Cloud, ready to get set and go, this would be an extension where we'll be looking into the details of app design. So let me quickly run through the disclaimer. So the content and information in this webinar is purely going to be a Visual BI perspective of the technology and the tool, and we strongly recommend the usage of the content in this presentation appropriately, as it is subject to change based on your environment, system landscape, data warehousing, and reporting tools that you have in place. If you need more details about pricing and other specifics, please reach out to your account representative of SAP and to get more information on it. So the agenda for today's webinar would be, we'll be looking into SAC App Design, the various connectivity options, and also a comparative analysis and migration from tools like Excel, CS, Lumira Designer, and Explorer. We will also be looking at a couple of demos quickly, and we'll be facing a few important questions about app design. So SAP App Design, analytical applications, application design, all mean one and the same. I'll be using the term app design throughout this webinar to avoid any confusion. Before we jump into the webinar presentation, let me give you an overview about Visual BI Solutions. We are a premium market leader in BI and analytics industry. We have been the premier partners with SAP and also the gold partner with Microsoft, and also partners with Snowflake, Looker, and Alteryx. We not only provide consulting services, we also provide solutioning and trainings for various technologies from Microsoft Power BI, Tableau, and also for SAP Analytics Cloud and as app design as such. So because of our wide range of software services, solutioning, and training, we have acquired 100+ customers under our customer portfolio, and few of them are, as you can see, a few of them are BMW, CSC Brands, Pfizer Pharmaceuticals. We have Continental Resources, Vodafone, Tech Data, and a lot more. And for the misconception of the name, many people think we Visual BI, we are primarily into the visualization, but most of our revenue, close to 70% of the revenue, comes in from non-visualization and backend items, you see. So we are primarily a BI and analytics enablement firm. So we do services ranging from strategic solutioning up to trainings. Then we also we have a couple of products. So primarily we have Visual BI extensions built for SAP Lumira. So these primarily provide additional components apart from what is actually available to cater the needs of our business customers. We have ValQ, which is for executives, where we can perform agile planning and simulation calculations, and for forecasting and budgeting. It not only provides it for business modeling, it can also be used for strategic goal setting and for executive KPI dashboards. We have VBI View, which is an all-in-one portal for all your BI technologies. It can bring all your reports and metadata built across various BI platforms and view it all in the same place. Right, let me jump into the topic for today, SAP Analytics Cloud. So let's see how SAP has placed Analytics Cloud in the market, what kind of reports can be built using it, and who are the business audience for this. So looking at the kind of reports that we have in place, we have storyboards which have, which can cater for self-service exploration needs. We have formatted reports where people need to look into the data in detail in table format. We have dashboards where we primarily have scorecards and a few key performance indicators, giving you insights about the data. And then we have analytical applications where we have complex requirements from the business. We have interactions and navigations within the dashboard where you get to slice and dice the data, and a lot more analysis can be done. So SAP Analytics Cloud already provides you the facility to provide and build storyboards, dashboards, and analytical applications. The only thing that we have it in the pipeline is formatted reports, which is soon going to be a part of the SAP Analytics Cloud. So which means SAP has placed it in such a way that it can cater to all the needs of building a report or an application for data analytics and insightful information. Then looking at what kind of users or what kind of audience that SAP Analytics Cloud can cater to, we have executive dashboards which are built at an enterprise level, and managers who use to drill down analysis for context across self-service BI seekers, where we have data scientists and data analysts who slice and dice through data. So which means it is placed in and positioned in such a way that it can cater to all business users as well. Like I already told, the enterprise reporting is still not available with SAP Analytics Cloud, but it is soon going to be a part of SAP Analytics Cloud. So primarily it is available for all types of reports and all users across different levels. So let me jump into application design. It takes guided analytics to the next level. So guided analytics is primarily what involves the IT development side, which involves complex business requirements, interactions, and navigations within the dashboard, and also with external applications. So these are primarily custom applications that are built for executives and business users across the business landscape. So what is application design? So we all know that application design of SAP Analytics Cloud has recently been generally available for all the customers. So it helps you build applications like what we have with Lumira Designer. We can build executive dashboards and applications, and it also provides you with features like planning and prediction. Primarily, it facilitates with the custom widgets where you can configure how you need the application and how navigation and interactions can happen for you to gather information from the dashboards. And definitely with the state-of-the-art visualization, SAP Analytics Cloud has taken guided analytics to the next level. So for all of you who have the question, what's the pricing and where do I get SAP Analytics Cloud? It comes along with the SAP Analytics Cloud Business Intelligence Standard License. So as you can see, the BI Standard License of SAC includes the app design, and since when it's been generally available, it comes along with the Business Intelligence License. It provides, the same license provides you with various other features like data discovery, data exploration, and mobile application and enterprise support, even though we do not have mobile apps facility for app design so far. And if you primarily need SAP Analytics Cloud to support your planning capabilities with your data, then you have to move on to the planning license, which is the next step. So moving on to the connectivity of SAC App Design. What are the backend data systems and data sources that we can connect and integrate with SAP Analytics Cloud and App Design as such? So SAP Analytics Cloud provides you a wide range of connectivity to backend systems of both SAP and non-SAP databases. right? So we have the capacity to bring in live data from various systems, and we can also import the data into the SAP Analytics Cloud and then model it and perform your data analysis. So like you can see on screen, we have a lot of features and a lot of backend systems like SAP BW, SAP HANA. We can also bring in data from your BPC systems and other cloud-based applications like SuccessFactors, Google Drive, and also Excel files can be used as a data source for SAP Analytics Cloud and App Design. So we are moving towards a kind of a robustness with data, with SAP Analytics Cloud, and SAP is consistently working in increasing the number of backend systems and data sources that can be connected to SAP applications. So moving on to the next slide, we have the various features that are available for SAC App Design in both live and acquired connections. So as I already spoke about live and acquired connections, live connection is where you model the data and bring it in from the backend system and directly use it on applications. And acquired is where you bring and import the data into the SAP Analytics Cloud, then model it based on your needs, and then design your applications. So first, looking at the universe connectivity, you see a lot of things are possible with acquired, because acquired has a lot of capabilities, because you actually bring the data into the cloud system and then work on it, while live has a lot of limitations for now, but I'm pretty sure these gaps are going to be filled by SAP very soon. So like you see, we can create calculated measures and calculated dimensions within the analytic applications, and it also supports the UNX and UNV files for live. And there are a lot of other options like smart insights and sorting, which are very basic calculations that are needed for a data analysis. So let me also move into the BW connectivity. I'm not focusing on everything on the exhaustive list, because we have a lot of options and a lot more information coming in the upcoming slides. So these are the list of features that BW connectivity has for live and acquired connections. The primary reason why we do not have geomaps yet is because we have it for stories, but it is not available for app design. But it is pretty much planned in Q3 of 2019, or at least the end of 2019. And we have other options like smart discovery and smart insights, and you can also bring in a custom key figure structure and create applications on top of it. And one major point is you have R visualizations, which can help you build custom applications or bring in features within your application design. Moving on to HANA connectivity, we only have live connectivity with respect to HANA, and we do not have acquired. Since the beginning, we have been having live connectivity because of the real-time data coming in from HANA. It makes more sense to have live data connectivity to SAP Analytics Cloud. Like we already said, geomaps is still available in the future, and then we are going to have smart grouping. R visualizations are still available for the HANA connectivity, and a lot more other features that as we look on the screen. So now we looked at few of the major systems of SAP. Let me move into the non-SAP database connectivity with SAC App Design. So apart from the SAP systems, we also have a wide range of connectivity with non-SAP systems like Microsoft SQL Server, Microsoft Azure. We have Teradata, we have IBM's DB2, Google Analytics. So primarily, few of the sources can be connected using live or acquired connectivity, while few others require a third-party adapter or a connector to bring in the data, but it's still possible. So the point is, the connectivity and the spectrum for backend connectivity is pretty wide when you compare SAP Analytics tool with any other SAP tools or non-SAP tools as such. So let me move into the next slide, where we're going to discuss about data blending. So data blending lets you to model multimodal sources, right? So you bring in data from multiple systems or multiple connections. It lets you combine the data from both the sources and use it on your applications. Let's say you are bringing in data from a HANA system or a BW system through live connections, and also a BW system through import connections. Now you can blend these two data and you can do a link dimension on it, and you can primarily display the information onto the applications. So this is available only for stories, but we are primarily looking at when it is going to come into SAC App Design, because data blending can increase the capability of analytical applications to the next level. For BobJ reports, we do not even have blending options when we compare to Lumira Designer, but we can actually pull in data from different sources onto a Webby. So primarily, when we are going to have formatted reports available on SAP Analytics Cloud, we will have this option pretty widely available for SAC App Design too. So now we have pretty much come to the end of the connectivity. I'll be switching into the comparative analysis, where we'll be placing SAP Analytics Cloud, the App Design module, and along with Lumira Designer, Explorer, and maybe even legacy applications like Excelsior or Lumira Designer, what we have in hand. So now I'm comparing the general features of what we have in a SAC story, which is primarily meant for self-service exploration, which cannot have the flexibility for using custom applications. We can just drag and drop components and gather some insights from it. While SAC App Design, which actually lets you to bring in navigation and interactions within the application. And then we have Lumira Designer, which is quite a mature tool in the SAP shop. So as you see, while we compare the general features, we see most of the basic options like the charts, bringing in charts, and calculating the variance and cross calculation, creating an hyperlink. It is available to both SAC App Design and Lumira Designer. And there are a few features that are still missing with SAC App Design, but primarily this are planned for the future releases, because as we know, SAP Analytics Cloud has a quarterly release, and a lot of features are there available on the roadmap, which will be available very soon on SAC App Design and SAP Analytics Cloud as such. So let me quickly run you through the options of formatting. So you see there we can do number formatting on it, we can do scaling. So let's say your data is coming in millions, it can be easily scaled up without any hassle in SAC Stories, App Design, or Lumira Designer. And next we have the display capabilities. So even though Lumira Designer has the capability of CSS, by default there are not much features. As you see, we cannot bring in an error bar, or you cannot actually rename the measures with the native components that are available with Lumira Designer. So as we discussed in the beginning, the Visual BI extensions actually play an important role here, where we fill in the gaps what the native components of Lumira Designer cannot do. And there are a lot of features that are not yet available in SAC App Design. And one more reason why we cannot have it for now is we do not have a custom SDK in place. So SDK is what that lets you build extensions for the tool. So SAP is planning to get the SDK for SAP Analytics Cloud released by the end of 2019, and we are all very excited to have it in place, so that SAP Analytics Cloud is going to get much more powerful than what it is now. So let me switch into the other features too. We have other features like decimal separators, which are all very basic and which are already available. These are most needed for data analysis, and I'm glad that we already have it on SAC App Design, which are already available on Lumira Designer too. Apart from this, we have other capabilities, like we can include and exclude selections. You can actually zoom into applications with SAC App Design, and other options like single selection of list boxes or selectors as such. So that is available. And like already told, the CSS we do not have the capability of custom style sheets on SAC App Design, but we have theming coming up where you can actually switch between themes on your analytical applications. So let me just brush through this slide as you see other options that are available. So let me move into the feature comparison of Lumira Designer and SAC App Design, right? So how we have it, for interoperability with other BobJ tools, and how the visualizations are with respect to both the tools. Towards the end of this webinar, we have a much more detailed comparison between these two tools. So let me just move across to the next slide and give you a basic differentiation between these two tools. So like you already know, SAP Lumira Designer is primarily a client-based tool, which makes it a little more, not so flexible tool, while SAP Analytics Cloud is web-based and you can access it from anywhere without the need to have a client on your desktop. Then looking at commenting and bookmarking, Lumira Designer has the commenting and bookmarking features because it is primarily a very mature tool over the years, but the bookmarking feature is coming soon with SAC App Design. And we have mobile support for SAP Lumira Designer for iPads through SAP mobile app, while mobile support is only available for stories in SAP Analytics Cloud. So final point, I would like to talk about security here. So we have role-based security that is inherited from business intelligence platform, and for SAP Analytics Cloud it needs to be set up on the SCP, which is the cloud platform for SAC. But primarily there cannot be an integration with the users and roles directly from the business intelligence platform, because many of us have this question where you actually think if we can actually import the users from your existing BI platform into the SAP cloud platform. But this can be done using SAML and SAML and single sign-on, where the Windows AD users can be brought into the SAP cloud platform. Let me not get into too much details about the administration, as we can look into the other parts that we have in hand. So moving into the next slide, this is about SAP Explorer Migration to SAC App Design, right? So the primary reason of Explorer is we can do a linked analysis. Like you see, there is the feature where we can perform ad hoc filters for analysis. The reason why SAP Analytics Cloud and SAC App Design stand up here, even though there is no linked analysis, is because the ability to script and use scripting to combine and perform analysis on multiple filters and slice and dice of data, we can do that with SAC App Design. And we have a few other feature comparisons with respect to various backend systems and various features. You can look into detail when you actually get the presentation. So moving on to the migration part of it. So these are pretty much with respect to SAC App Design, where you can see a lot of features which are available with SAP Lumira Designer and dashboards can be brought into SAP Analytics Cloud too. But later part of it, you can see various options like the radar chart, the single axis combination, the gauges that we have are still not available as a part of SAC App Design or the SAP Analytics Cloud. But once we have the custom SDK, we have the flexibility, and we might have something very robust like the Lumira Designer SDK, which lets us create and get to imaginative levels where we can bring in a lot more components into the Analytics Cloud platform. So now these are other features with respect to selectors, where making filters and drilling down through your data is something that's really important. So selectors play a major role when you talk about analytics. So there are a lot of options like checkbox, combo box, and with SAC App Design you can also filter by passing filters from one chart to the other, or interoperability within the components of the application design. While there are few other options which are still not available, So primarily we'll have to use an alternative method or a workaround to bring it back into SAP Analytics Cloud SAC App Design. So now talking about mapping features and also the other export features, it is very limited with respect to SAC App Design. So we primarily have export to CSV for app design, and export to PDF is an additional option that is available for stories, while the mapping options are still not available with SAC App Design. So moving on to what feature we have with respect to the mobile applications, right? So if you are a user, if you're looking to do analysis or have your applications on your mobile devices, then you have to choose Lumira Designer as your first choice for app design, because we do not have SAP Analytics Cloud application supporting the app design yet. We can only view stories of the SAP Analytics Cloud, and we will not be able to see the app design on mobiles for at least another couple of releases of SAP Analytics Cloud. So let me jump into the next step, where we will be actually looking at a couple of demos where I will be explaining how the scripting capabilities and the flexibility of using scripts within SAP Analytics Cloud helps you perform a few interactions within the dashboard. So let me just switch my screen to the dashboard. So this is a retail revenue dashboard where we actually looking at sales distribution by region and sales trend by year or geography. So let me demo it directly from the platform so that you'll get a better idea of it. And as you can see, the visualization that we have on SAP Analytics Cloud is crystal clear, and it's much way far better than what we have on other tools, and this is primarily looking very crisp and clean. So let me get into the functionalities of it. So as you can see, the pie chart that we have in hand, it has a tooltip showing you the data that is available, and I can actually drill down into the region. So as you can see, it is region, it's by region now, and when I'm drilling in, I can get into that particular region, and I can actually get back to region after getting back to the state. So this is not possible without the usage of scripting. In stories, you can do this with the help of hierarchies, but remember, when you do not have hierarchies configured at your backend systems, the capabilities of scripting is definitely needed for performing such interactions within the dashboard. I can drill down further into city, and I can see the data for the sales distribution by each city. Similarly, I can also see the sales trend by year and drill down deeper into the timeline. Like now I can get into the quarter. Similarly, I can drill down deep into every month data, right? So I can use this button to get back to where I was. So this is something which cannot be done on stories, and I can filter it for years. As this is a year, I'm not trying to filter it because I want to see it across 4 years, but primarily all the other charts have been filtered. If you see, yes. So I can also use this table button. So I have configured this image to actually pull across a table to view the data in much more detail where I want to view the table form. So before I step into the next demo, I will show what kind of scripting that we have used and what kind of scripting that SAP Analytics Cloud allows you to do. So this is the pie chart that I've been using, and for the drill down feature, we have a lot of complex scripting that is going on when you actually need to drill down into every geography. So like you see, it is very close to JavaScript, while in Lumira Designer we have it kind of mixed with JavaScript and the Microsoft VB coding. So you can see how complex scripting has been brought into this dashboard. This was possible only with Lumira Designer, but now we can do any kind of scripting, and we have a lot of APIs that are available. All you need is you have to understand what you actually need on the dashboard, and you can achieve it with the help of SAC App Design. So you have a lot of APIs, and I'm pretty sure the API list is going to be adding up with more and more releases. And once we have the SDK, it's going to be much more extensive than you can think about. So similarly, I can also do a lot of simple scripting, like just opening a pop-up, displaying a table, and I can modify it however I want it. So this is a pop-up where I'm actually showing a table, and I can configure this button just in case I need to close the pop-up also. So even simple calculations and scripting can be done, while you also saw where we did complex kind of scripting for the pie chart drill down. So let me get you back to the demo, where let us get back into the other view. So this is another method where I am navigating within the dashboard application, right? Because we do not have different views that can be created. I'm just, again, this is made possible only with scripting. So you see a lot of dashboards, and I can get back to the home screen. And here I can again, the various filters that can I applied, because I have filtered for the calendar year, region, state. I can remove it just like that, because the user experience and user interaction for SAP Analytics Cloud is state of the art, and is definitely one of the best in today's BI industry. So let me also take you to the other demo, which is primarily a planning demo. So the planning feature is what a lot of people look into when we're talking about integrated planning with the data that you have. So what we can do is we can primarily write back to the data that can be changed. So I'm not going to get into details about the planning, but let me just tell you that I'm going to make changes to this value, and primarily I'm going to write it back to the file that I already have. So let's say I am changing the value. So it gets prepared for the public version for data entry. So this is a kind of planning activity that is being performed, and you also see a lot of values get adjusted, and if you actually are looking at the total value, it has been modified according to what I have changed, right? So what I can do is I can copy these values. So all this is made possible just with scripting. So I can choose which category I need to perform, and I can copy this. So it asks me for a private version name. Let's say I'm just bringing in and saving it with a private version name. So all this pop-up scenario and creating planning and writing it back to the backend connections or backend data source that is available, it is primarily made only possible with the scripting abilities of it. So again, let me just also make you go through the scripts that we are using here, so that you understand what kind of planning and what kind of activities are happening. So we have a lot of drill drop downs that are been configured. So every drop down, the values that is coming in, so once you actually add it to the category or publish it, so it gets back and added to the drop down. So everything is scripted here, right? So everything includes a script where it takes a particular value. Let's say I am adding it to the actuals or the budget. Like you see, whichever field I am adding it to, I can actually get it back from the value. So this is completely a planning functionality, and this comes along with the SAP Analytics Cloud, which is very helpful for business planning and integrated planning. So let us get back to the presentation that we were looking at. Yeah. So this is the dashboard that we were looking at, the retail revenue dashboard, and this was the integrated planning dashboard. So I'm pretty sure you understood what kind of scripting can be done, right from simple until complex scripting capabilities. So now we are going to get into one of the most important phases where we are going to actually ask, let's say it's an important question in today's SAP shop. Yes, is SAC App Design a replacement to SAP Lumira Designer? Let's look into it. So we all know that everything is moving towards the cloud. SAP is completely committed to taking us closer to where the world is, right? So only when, if you need an on-premise solution for reporting, Lumira Designer is going to be an option. And also another point, only when you need your applications, the app design available on your mobile, you need Lumira Designer. But for all, to provide state-of-the-art visualization, enhanced navigation and interactions, SAP Analytics Cloud has it all, right? So we have seen how we can use scripting to achieve it and what are the components and various features that are available for it. So let me get into the next slide where I can brief you more about what business audience that we have for SAC Analytical applications. So you see very clearly we have two main things. One is self-service exploration and one is guided analytics. Lumira Designer only provides you the option to do guided analytics. But anyways, we have SAP Lumira Discovery for the discovery part, but now we are comparing the designer version of SAP Lumira. So SAP Analytics Cloud provides you the option for both self-service applications and custom applications, where the self-service applications called stories can be further compiled using digital boardrooms. But it doesn't mean SAC App Design cannot be compiled using digital boardrooms. The only thing is we have still not got the integration for digital boardrooms for SAC App Design. But it has been mentioned in the roadmap for SAC App Design, and it is definitely going to be available for digital boardrooms very soon. So let me jump into the next slide where I'm just going to compare the various SAP sources for SAC and SAP. So like you see, SAP Lumira Designer has a very limited range of backend connections while compared to SAP Analytics Cloud, because SAP Analytics Cloud is meant for external application integration, and we already saw the wide range of connectivity options, and we also have OData calls that have been enabled and available since Q2 of 2019, which actually expands the horizon for SAC. So next, I'm gonna give you a few major points and compare both SAP Lumira Designer and SAC App Design. So like we already spoke, backend connectivity. So the winner is SAC App Design right now because of the various connectivity options. Now talking about data source reusability. So data source reusability is pretty much not so mature on the app design standpoint, because you have to use individual models for individual components inside the analytical applications, while SAP Lumira Designer allows you to use the same data source for multiple components, which can help you give a lot more optimizations to the performance of the analytical applications, right? So then talking about integration, SAP Lumira Designer can integrate well with the SAP tools, like we can bring in Baby, or you can bring in Analysis for Office, but SAC App Design is meant for integration with external apps, and because it's also brought in with hyperlinking capabilities and scripting capabilities, the integration with external apps is even more getting wider. And then talking about the components that are available within the tool. So what we have in SAP Lumira Designer is pretty much good, but there are a lot of gaps which are filled with the robust custom SDK that we already have in place, right? So we have been, creating a lot of components to fill in the gaps that the native components that cannot do with the SAP Lumira Designer, but still the custom SDK provides you a lot more options. So definitely SAP Lumira Designer is the winner, but not for long, because SAC App Design 2 is going to have a custom SDK release soon, and it is maturing very quickly than we compare with the SAP Lumira Designer. Then with respect to scripting, both are pretty much close to JavaScript, but SAP Lumira Designer has been also inclined to the Microsoft Visual Basic script. So it has its own scripting called the BIAL scripting, while for SAC App Design, it is more inclined to the JavaScript, and it does not have as much as APIs as we have with SAP Lumira Designer. And with UI and UX, you already saw a couple of demos where we seamlessly navigated and interacted with the analytical application and crisp and clear visuals. So I'm pretty much sure that SAC App Design takes the spot there. So now let us look at where SAC App Design is going to be, right? So this timeline is going to be a verdict. So where I'm going to tell the current state of SAC, right? So I'm talking about the release that we have in hand right now. The release 2019-09, which is available in the current state, is pretty much equivalent to what we had in Design Studio 1.2. For those who are not aware, Lumira Designer was previously known as Design Studio, and the 1.2 version of it is kind of equivalent to what we have in SAC, the kind of scripting capabilities, the kind of APIs that are available. So let me move forward, pretty much with the roadmap that we have in hand that has been provided by SAP. During the Q4 or early Q1 of 2020, we are going to have a lot more features integrated with the SAP Analytics Cloud, which is going to take it to a level of Design Studio 1.6. So Design Studio 1.6 is one of the most stable and robust versions of Lumira Design Studio, which let you do a lot of analytical applications with a lot of features, right? So now we have it as Lumira Designer. Lumira 2.3 is the current state. So with the pace that we are traveling with SAC App Design, our verdict would be that we will be where Lumira Designer is today by the end of 2020 or the early 2021 is the date. And definitely with the ability of custom SDK, building custom apps, and the kind of facilities that are going to be available with SAC App Design, we are going to reach where Lumira 2.3 is right now today in 2020 Q4 or Q1 2021 is what the verdict is. So that was pretty much the timeline that we talked about. It is going to give you a brief about where we stand or how SAP Analytics Cloud is going to mature with respect to SAC App Design, right? So another feature that I would like to explain to you about is the parallel processing. So any application or dashboard or reports, one important thing that everyone looks for is performance. Performance of the application matters a lot. Insightful information within seconds is what we look for. So it is now available for only stories. What is available? Parallel processing of queries. So what does parallel processing do? You have a couple of queries and it all goes into the same processor, and it goes and loads the data source, and the data gets loaded onto the dashboard. It takes a couple of minutes. So that is serial processing, right? So now we have different data sources entering into different processors. That is going to make it much more optimized with respect to performance. So that is going to get the application loaded very fast in a very optimized manner. So that is what the importance of parallel processing. So that is not available for SAC App Design, but Lumira Designer stays way far better than what SAC App Design has today. But SAP Analytics Cloud also provides an option called query batching, where you can actually batch few queries together and send it for processing and then get it loaded onto the data dashboards, right? So this is one important feature that, it would primarily be great if we have it on our SAC App Design. So we are hoping to have it soon by Q4 of 2019. So next is another question we have in hand. Is SAP Analytics Cloud App Design ready for prime time? I would say yes. So let's look at why it is going to be the prime time for SAC App Design. So the kind of backend connectivity it has, the kind of integration it has with various external applications makes it one of the most suited tools for all the BI and analytic needs for today for any business that's running on SAP Shop. And also, if you have other cloud-based solutions, it's going to facilitate your data and give you much more insightful information with analytics right away. So this is a kind of ideal customer profile architecture that SAP Analytics Cloud could support. So let me give you a brief about the kind of roadmap, what we have today, what's going to come, and what is good to have. So we have state-of-the-art visualization, we have non-SAP database connectivity, we have iOS mobile application for the stories, which is going to be available for app design very soon. But still, there are a few component limitations, and there is some kind of a parity between features for live and acquired connections. But what's in the coming? We're going to have multi-source models. We're going to have support for Android mobiles as well. And the SDK is going to be one of the most important features that is going to be, available, and it's going to excite every one of us. So I'm pretty much excited about it. And also bookmarking, sharing, and scheduling. That is also a few of the important features. And from my perspective, or our perspective, what is good to have? Yeah, we need enhanced mobile capabilities. We need mobile for app design and lot more features, because everyone is moving towards cloud. Everyone's moving towards mobile devices, and all analytics is done on mobile device. We need enhanced capabilities to mobile devices, and we need a lot more visuals like Gantt chart, funnel chart, gauges to perform a lot more analytics on the go. So this is something, the roadmap that SAP provides. So this is based on connectivity, what we have in hand, and what is the future direction. So this is pretty much, most of this we have already discussed in the various slides. Yeah, one thing I would like to talk about is the boardroom integration, right? The digital boardroom integration is going to make it a big move for the SAC App Design, because once we have integrated, we can have like a scorecard. We can have multiple dashboards connected to one digital boardroom, and the entire business can cater to that, right? And the consistency in increasing the number of backend connectivity has been, seamlessly great for SAP Analytics Cloud especially, because we've been adding up a lot of servers and a cloud-based technologies to be accessible from SAP Analytics Cloud. So that is pretty much it we had for the roadmap standpoint. So let me just get into the frequently asked questions. You're already setting up SAP Analytics Cloud, or you're planning to get into SAP Analytics Cloud. There are a few questions that you kind of get. Before moving into the Q&A session, I will just take you through a couple of questions. I think many of you have. So is SAC going to replace all the existing SAP Analytics products in the long run? Yes, definitely. Like I already mentioned, we are moving pretty much towards cloud in every technology. This would be the most likely scenario option going forward. So the only thing that is SAP Analytics Cloud is lacking is the formatted reports. So the Webby-like, Bob-J-like reports that we still do not have on SAP Analytics Cloud is what we still lack in SAP Analytics Cloud, right? So once that is going to be available in SAP Analytics Cloud, it is going to be seamlessly the one tool that is definitely necessary for all the BI and analytics needs, right? Then how well is SAC positioned within the BI market? This is some kind of a strategic thought that we have when we think I have to move into SAP Analytics Cloud, or start using SAC App Design, or when you are planning to move into from various other tools like Lumira Designer or Web Intelligence reports, right? So like we discussed in the early point of the webinar, it is capable of catering to all kinds of reports: storyboards, formatted reports, dashboards, analytical application with complex navigations and interactions. And also it caters the needs of business users across all levels. So this tells you how beautifully and strategically it has been positioned in the BI industry, in the BI market by SAP. So definitely, the position in which SAC is right now is going to take its places much faster than the other BI tools. So the next question is, can we schedule SAC stories or reports like we do in Business Objects or BobJ? So we can already, schedule models. Models are the backend data sources that are acquired or, imported into it. So these can be scheduled. These can be, bringing in data at regular intervals whenever you think there is a data load happening. But when you're talking about SAC stories or reports, the scheduling is not yet available. And we will definitely have it, because we have the formatted reports and the webby-like reports that are in pipeline for SAP Analytics Cloud, right? So once we have that, scheduling is something that is very important for enterprise reporting, and I'm pretty sure SAP has it on mind and will bring scheduling into it. So those are the questions that I had. So let us get into the Q&A section. We have a lot of interesting questions. Let me just go across few of the ones, because we are running short of time. Okay, so what kind of cloud database technology SAP supports? So as we saw, there are a lot of cloud databases that are supported by SAC. We saw even Google Drive and Salesforce, SuccessFactors of SAP. We have Concur, and primarily we have listed out a lot of questions, and listed a lot of databases that SAC can connect to. So you can look at detailed view of it once you receive the presentation. Why SAP Analytics is cloud? So SAP Analytics Cloud is, like I already answered, SAP is positioning it in such a way that we are moving towards the future. So everything is moving towards the cloud. It would be more ideal to move the reporting and the business analytics part of your business into the cloud. So that is one of the reasons. So I hope I have answered your question. So what is the meaning of scripting? What kind of scripting can be done in SAP Analytics Cloud? So App Design lets you do a kind of scripting which is closer to JavaScript. So like I showed you a couple of scripting which is complex, and also simple scripting that can be done. So it is pretty much similar to JavaScript. So you can go through the APIs that are available, and we also have a lot of trainings that can be done with respect to app design. So if you're in, so that would be another option. I'm glad we got quite a few questions here. So do we know what is the underlying database of SAC? Is it HANA? So like I told you, there are a lot of data sources that can be supported and connected to SAC App Design. So it doesn't necessarily have to be HANA. Multiple story tabs is now available in App Design, which I saw during your demo. So that was achieved using scripting. So as we do not have any kind of container widgets, there is no page books or tab strips that allow you to create multiple containers within App Design. We have used scripting to actually create multiple tabs on the application. Can we do linked analysis? It cannot be done directly. Linked analysis is like you are passing a filter from a tool or a chart to another chart within the application, which cannot be done directly in SAC App Design, but it primarily can be done with the help of scripting. How are the security roles maintained as we do it in SAP BW reporting? So primarily if you are bringing in data from the backend, it requires the same, your access for the BW systems are the same as you bring in the data, and your access for the SAP Analytics Cloud is entirely different from what you have it on the backend. So ultimately, you need to have access to both the systems unless you have a single sign-on configured across your landscape. I guess we are running out of time, and we have a lot more questions. I would love to answer them, but as we are coming to the end of the session, I would like to thank you all guys for being patiently listening to the entire webinar, and I hope we gave you enough information. And we are also looking forward to catch you up in the future webinars. Thank you so much. Have a great day.